All right, we might have not clarified the real newsmaking element in that interview. It started out with Chuck Grassley saying that he was not going to tell Lindsey Graham to call President Obama as a witness, as President Trump had recommended, but he said it would probably be a good idea. I'm going to raise this with Ken Starr, the former Whitewater independent counsel, Fox News contributor, more importantly to us. Ken, the issue started with Grassley, of course, the head of that very committee Lindsey Graham runs now, that would be responsible to try to take this to the next level if they do, and to call Barack Obama as a witness to that committee. How likely do you think that is?
It is all dependent, Neil, on the facts. And you build your case step at a time, gather the facts, assess the facts, and then if the facts point to the president, and we know about the January 5th meeting, then there is a compelling need to get his testimony, to hear what he has to say about it. You would do it through an interview. So it's a little too soon to tell, but certainly it is in the realm of possibility, bordering on likelihood, because there was this huge flurry of interest in this Kislyak communication with an American. By the way, poor General Flynn, not only in light of what's been happening on the legal front, but we now know that essentially he was cleared at the lower levels of the FBI after a 5-month investigation into whether he had connections with the Russians. And by this time, remember, he was the designated national security advisor to the incoming president of the United States. It's all very odd.
So, Ken, what's odd to me is so many administration officials, very high up officials, as I said to the vice president at the time, seeking this unmasking. In other words, not knowing ostensibly who the person was who's having these discussions with the Russian ambassador, but trying to find out who that would be, leading to obviously General Flynn. But does it seem odd to you that either that many either didn't know or were trying simultaneously to find out and get to know?
It is odd to me that so many people were trying to find out through their own resources, as opposed to allowing the intelligence community, the appropriate people, to say, hey, to piece all these things together, we in the intelligence community need an unmasking. But why did the chief of staff to the president of the United States need to unmask? Why did Vice President Biden need to unmask? There's been no explanation for that. And so one of the reasons I would frankly be suspicious right now is the failure of memory of person after person, Samantha Power, others who just said, well, I just don't remember. And you just can't accept that at face value. Amnesia on the part of Washington, D.C. senior officials occurs much too frequently and much too conveniently.
You know, Democrats have come back largely. I think I'm getting the gist of their argument, Ken, to say this is meant to focus more on the investigators rather than the investigated. And it's sort of like a shell game that the White House is playing now to take the attention off of the investigation itself. What did you make of that?
Well, but the investigation itself has proved to have been fruitless and feckless. It should not have continued on into January, it being the investigation into General Flynn. That's the underlying.
So the fact that they were relentless at it, I just want to understand. The fact that they were relentless at it, Ken, catches your attention, that they didn't just drop it. This was something that was in wave after wave, higher up after higher up, correct?
That's correct. It is so odd that you had so many people and at increasingly high levels. Again, it raises a lot of, I think, very serious questions. We don't have the answers to them, but it is very good reason to be suspicious, and Senator Grassley is right in asking these questions.
All right, Ken Starr, thank you very, very much, my friend. Good seeing you.